Everyone. Can we hear each other?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yep. Hi, Paulo. Hi, Paschal. Well, hello, everyone. And kudos to all the people that are left with us at this time, because with this discussion, with this panel discussion, we're basically wrapping up Disruption Forum and Renewing Horizons for today. My name is Mary. And I'm super happy to host these two wonderful people that are on the screen with me today. I'm happy because, one, we're going to talk about an area that's dear to my heart. I'm a marketer, and I've been marketing staff augmentation for a couple of companies for many, many years now. And now I'm talking to the market, so that's a cool opportunity for me. And I'll see if everything that I marketed so far makes sense, basically. So that's one. And number two, I'm talking to two people from completely different domains. So we have banking on the call, and we have very modern day marketing on the call. So Paulo, if we can start with you, if you can just say a couple of words about Nubank and about what you do at Nubank.
Sure. First, thanks for having me here. I'm Paulo Gomes, software engineering manager at Nubank. Nubank, for those that don't know, we are the biggest Latin America fintech. We are over 100 million customers nowadays. We operate in markets like Brazil, which is our biggest one, Colombia and Mexico. We have around like 80,000 employees, where part of them are in the engineering side, like product manager, software engineer, and so on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about staff augmentation here.
Paschal.
Thanks for having me, Mary. Excited to engage with our viewers today. I am Paschal, CTO at Wowzi. Wowzi is based out of Kenya, and it's the influencer marketing platform for Africa. Please, we're starting from Africa, and we're going to conquer the world out of there. Today, we operate in 21 countries out of Africa, and our platform, you get an end-to-end management for influencer marketing.
Being a marketer, Paschal, I have to tell you that I absolutely love your brand's name. It's just fantastic. It really sticks in your mind. I want to kick off with the basics. And the basics are terms. Words are very important to me, as you can imagine. Is it staff augmentation where you are in your part of the world? Is it team extension? Is it, I don't know, a workforce enforcement or extension or expansion or whatever? How do you call the basically the external talent that you work with from time to time? Starting from Paulo.
It's a good question. Like wording sometimes is tricky, right? Like we, as a staff augmentation, for sure, it's like the basis for us. We understand the idea over staff augmentation, but given the fact that we are a company with a lot of engineers, we also have a lot of contribution inside of the company. So then we decided to call more like a types of collaboration. So staff augmentation is one of our types of collaboration. We have types of collaboration that we can just bring people from other team inside of the company or outside of the company. So it's kind of for us just a type of collaboration.
There's some internal names that really don't matter here.
Exactly. Sure. I can say that this is kind of like a category that we put type of collaboration. Then we have like a whole types inside that. Yeah, the names doesn't matter that much, but the point it's like all of them are connected to one kind of collaboration. There is also like these to outsourcing, which is far away. It's a little bit away from staff augmentation. So we also have these with a different name.
Fantastic. Paschal.
Yeah. I mean, at Wowzi, we are relatively smaller than Nubank, for example, and we just say the team, right? It's either the internal team, we have the tech team, and we have the team, other teams in Wowzi apart from tech. So it's mostly just team for us at Wowzi.
This is an approach that I love, obviously, because it doesn't differentiate that much. And I'm guessing that kind of approach helps think of teams, extended teams, as basically part of your company. So that should ease up communication in between different people. And it is communication that I want to touch on at the beginning, as it is one of the greatest challenges, or at least this is what we hear from the market. Finding the right language with the provider, finding the right way to collaborate, the channels, aligning on with the culture and everything. So basically, I would like to understand. The challenging side of staff augmentation on your end. How do you see it? How do you see the challenges? Let's talk challenges first, and then how we tackle them. Maybe starting from you, Paulo, again.
Sure. Yeah, like a lot of challenges can raise by staff augmentation, because you basically are like you need more engineer, right? Or maybe not only engineer, product manager, or even marketing, and you have like some need that you need to grow your team like inside. And the main challenge is usually from people that are already working inside. They might feel like some sort of like, oh, now it's a competition. People from outside are joining my team. So how the performance will looks like, how the deliverables will looks like, how the access management will looks like. So I can see that a lot of challenges here, but I can say that the competition might be the more challenging, because this one will affect people that naturally might affect like their performance.
Can I stop you here? Because I'm guessing that this kind of competition is not necessarily the kind of competition that's good for anyone, right?
Exactly. Competition is good, but this one, it's more the team might receive some sort of like, okay, it's another people working on behalf of our company, but from another company that might compete to us, that might be have a better performance, and we might not be needed to be here. So this is the thing that it's not a good competition side. Like the idea of competition, like let's build together something good enough for our customers and compete on this, but not on people against people. I think this is the thing that it's a huge challenge.
So we'll get back to the ways to mitigate it. Paschal, what's your experience? What's the hurdle?
I think first, from where I see it, it's mostly trying to make sure that the team has the same goal, right? Similar to what Paulo has just said, there's always that tension when there is an external player coming in. Everybody would tend to think, oh, is my role going away? Stuff like that. Even if people don't say it, you pick these feelings around. And it's usually, how do we get everybody to feel that their role is secure? They are playing as part of the general team. And even when we try to get that help from outside, they are clear that they have a specific thing to do, and they do it and go away, so to say.
And the communication bit?
Yeah, communication is critical for us, for example, because the tech team in particular has several layers, right? The output of this team is the input for the other team. So for us, communication is critical. You don't presume anything. We always encourage each other to make sure that we expressly say what we need, where we are, where the blockers are. So communication is non-negotiable, at least at Wowzi.
But have you ever experienced a situation in which external talent didn't really fit in communication-wise somehow?
Yeah, I've seen that happen. I think in my case, or in the couple of cases I've seen, it had to do with cultural adaptation, right? Because we presume that we're all human beings, we always understand things the same way. Some people might think it's just good to go straight to the point, ask your questions, and I have another person who feels like saying hi, hello, and wait for me to answer before I can go ahead, right? It can be very problematic for some people, but very every day for the rest of the team. So it's usually that expectation. How do I do this? How do I go to the next level? Does the next person understand me? And stuff like that. Once we've gotten that under control, everybody feels like we know the next thing and I should be going to this next point.
And out of curiosity, how long does it take for teams, for the people that you worked with, internally, externally, to align with your culture? Like, just this point is interesting to me. How long does it take to be on the same page when it comes to communication and cultural differences?
From what I've seen, it's usually individual centric, so to say, right? Some people I've seen tend to get on it faster than the others. Truth is, I've seen some regions of the world do it a little faster than the rest of them, right? No need to start mentioning names here, but I mean, if we get to it, I can show see what my experience is. But yeah, usually for the senior people, I find that within 2 weeks, they've already gotten all the stuff that they need. So because, I mean, what they need to catch up in 2 ways, the technical aspect of it and the cultural aspect of it. I think you're talking about the cultural. So the cultural at Wowzi will make it a point of duty that community is first. So we try to make them get comfortable culturally. And then personally, I presume that the technical stuff is basic. We don't pick you if you don't think you are good. So we just want you to culturally fit for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So do you have any other challenges that come to your mind? If not, then we can jump to solutions, everything that you've established by now.
Yeah, so I find that one thing that breaks it, because I've been in a situation where the relationship broke, was not managing the expectation. What is the external team B coming into team A to do for us? We presume a whole lot, and when it falls short, everybody starts blaming everybody. So I find that unless these expectations are very clear, it's very easy to, say this guy is not doing what we want them to do and stuff like that. That's what I've seen.
Okay, Paulo. So how do you make it work? How do you make it work when it comes to bringing people together, sometimes from completely different parts of the world, different backgrounds, different experiences? How can you make it work, basically?
It's pretty much aligned with what Paschal said in the way that it's really about like culture, how you receive people and put them in the same page that who are already onboarded. For example, in our case, we have the common company onboarding time for all of the employees, both whether or not they are engineer. So the idea is like how we receive the staff that are for a third party in the same onboard pipeline, I could say, as well as like communicate clear with our team, like our goals. Like we are doing this because of that. For example, we wanted to deliver this feature that will reach out this amount of customers. It will give this power to our customers, and this is very aligned to our values. So doing this, communicate clear first to our internal team, and second to the onboarding well the staff that we are increasing in our team, in our solution. I think both of them can like tackle well this challenge. This, I would not call this still a risk, but it's a challenge related to competition that we might have between like internal team and I would say external, but in fact they are not external. That's why we call collaboration, because the idea is like if you are bringing, then they are passing through a semi process of hiring someone. So we are evaluating like soft skills, technical skills. So this is something that it will be already evaluated, but how we make sure that the competition will not leave here this bad competition.
Do you have any I don't know, like team rituals that help engineers, be on the same page and integrate faster at the beginning, especially?
It's an interesting point. We adopt something that we name it like working agreements, which is basically I would say like the law of what the team are doing, and it can refer working times to way of communicate, to even like how you open a pull request or how you do review a pull request. With this, we kind of created the idea to let's onboarding people, doesn't matter if they are outside or inside, to these working agreements and like read the out and loud to them and go one by one and make sure that they are aligned with these agreements that we are already setting, as well as like we let everyone open to challenge the agreements. But the idea is like do it transparent and reach out to the team, like raise your hands and ask for the team, hey, does this agreement make sense? Should we behave like that? It is better for everyone as well as for delivering value. So we try to, this is, I would say, kind of the ceremony that we have. We do it actually more often than just in the beginning of the engineers, but I would say that this is very important to put everyone on the same page.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Pascal, your ways to tackle the challenges we mentioned.
Yeah, at Wowzi, our newbies or our newcomers, whether external or internal, there's a standard thing we do with them. We assign you what we call an onboarding body.
Mm-hmm.
This is a single person that's going to show you around the platform, basically the door you knock on for every single thing you need. Not that you can't go to any other member of the team, but this is the special person assigned to you that catches you up on anything you want to know. And of course, if you're joining tech, any part of the company you are joining, there will be an onboarding ceremony where you get to meet the team leads. So they tell you specifically what they do in their own part of things. So you get the whole picture and then fit in very easily.
I'm just looking at the screen and I see that we have some comments and questions from the audience. Yeah, let me just start with this one from Federico. So basically, expectations and cultural communication differences, which must be overcome and aligned with, sounded like it's an important part. Do you take these two into account when choosing who to bring in for staff augmentation? And how do you evaluate it to ensure it will work? Yeah, you touched on it a little bit, Pascal.
Yeah.
But without getting into too much detail, basically, how do you approach these differences when thinking of your suppliers?
Personally, I try to make sure I have a session with anyone who is joining us. Like I said, the technical abilities, I tend to take them for granted. There are so many technically savvy people out there. It's that unspoken cultural possibility that I try to listen very closely and also get the person to speak with members of the team so that they share what they feel, not just what they feel or, being too subjective, but what do they see given what we know are our values at Wowzi.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to add to that, Paulo?
Yeah, like it's this is I would say that this is the crucial part when we took teams, because like there is one also important part when we evaluate staff augmentation as well as the teams. We evaluate like risks. We evaluate something like how we avoid Conway's law on our organization. How we make sure that we were really going to integrate them in the way that our architecture will be stable, as well as we are going to escalate. But there is this other side of the coin that how we evaluate, how we ensure that this will work. We try to evaluate a lot of soft skills with those teams that we are evaluating. For instance, like we have one of our main pillars here. It's like we want that our customers be fanatical to us. So to make sure this, when we are evaluating the companies or engineers or product managers, we try to understand from them, like, are they like a customer centric? They will look forward them to our main goal, which is like deliver this to our customer. We doing this, we can like assess how we shape better the communication. So I think like with this proposal that they have, like we can like make sure that we are working like towards the same communication way. But of course we will challenge cultural difference, and then it's about to feedback loops to make sure that if something goes that it's not right, let's step back and make sure that we align with everyone.
I mean, cultural differences are there, and it's exactly, I mean, that's exactly the reason why having diverse teams gives you a broader perspective. So basically overcoming the challenges that stem from that is just a matter of communication. It's just a matter of how hard we try to, to communicate better. It's funny what you said. I was thinking that you should have this kind of assessment about assessment of how far or how big of a fanatic a potential employee, a potential external talent may get about a product, basically, or a project. You need to be a fanatic to work at Nubank. I love it. Because your clients are basically fanatics, and so it seems. Listen, I want to talk about experiences, but these experiences that are best to talk about, the best stories are about what went wrong, basically. So I want to hear some collaboration nightmares from you. Anything that comes to your mind.
Okay, I think I have one, not the best situation to be in. I remember having a deadline for a feature to show up, and I had I think it was just a sprint worth of time, and suddenly one of the members of the team who was not who was onboarded externally let us know that they were not going to be available this part of the week, and suddenly they also took an unplanned leave. I mean, I felt like something was running away from me that was important that I couldn't hold back, and it really changed my view around getting external teams to join without having very clear SLAs on what we want to achieve, the time we want to achieve it, and stuff like that. So that's why my experience now is we get clear on these things so that, you don't leave me halfway into the battle and suddenly I feel lost. It's a very terrible place to be.
Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking that these things, like for example, sick leaves, like we're all human, these things can happen probably and happen on a regular basis. So what your expectation towards a provider would be if a member of your team, if the talent is not available?
Yeah, I guess I had that challenge because I didn't work as part of the team that started this collaboration, right? Of course, sick leaves are non-negotiable, right? I mean, you might wake up, you're just not feeling good. All you need to do at Wowzi is just let us know, let your team members know. But that wasn't the case at that particular time. It was actually a leave over a number of days after saying I'm not able to come in every day of the week. I'm able to do, say, Mondays and Wednesdays and stuff like that. So maybe it was just me who didn't go through the SLA, what was expected and stuff like that. But it was working a particular way, and suddenly the total amount of time the candidate was available drastically dropped. And not just that it dropped, because these things happen, but at a very critical point, I felt totally betrayed at that point. And going forward, I just made sure we all understood where we are going and what we could do, what we could not do.
So building on what you can't do, I'm wondering about some like absolute don'ts when it comes to staff augmentation. When you're considering this type of service, when you're considering leveraging external talent, what's a don't, like a number one don't for you?
Working without an SLA. We won't try to get someone simply because it looks like we need an extra person. No, we are getting X because we have A, B, C to cover. We have to be very clear about it. And then we say what timeline we can work with. We understand things could change, right? But at least there should be an estimation. Paulo will understand that it's usually estimations, right? You can't just knock it on the sand of time or something like that. But that estimation is the bare minimum you can give us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Paulo, do you have a don't?
I would take this from Pascal and say that the other don't, it's like if the time of like onboarding the staff will be bigger than the time of delivering. So I suggest to like step back and think in other way to work with that. For instance, you have like a 6 months project, a very complex scenario that you need to do a lot of calculations, and then 4 months is the time to onboard them. So doesn't make sense to onboard the 4 months. Try to reach out to this deadline. It will only overload your own team and maybe increase this level of uncertainty to deliver. What we can do instead, like setting these deadlines, like the clear expectation, as Pascal said, maybe not putting there in the core if you need to optimize your deliver, but maybe finding places where we can fit then with like a less time of onboarding, where they don't need like a huge company core context, and then they will only like be the drivers to make sure that your team will be more enabled to deliver. So I think it's like one layer more on this Pascal point of view.
Mm-hmm. And looking into the future, do you think staff augmentation, generally, whatever you call it, talent, team extension, or basically working with external talent, is it going to gain in importance or not? Is this complexity in the market going to rise or keep on growing? Or is it going to be a case of maybe hiring more people soon? Like, how do you see it?
That's a very good question. Of course, like it's an idea of the future, but given the fact that we are now in this huge wave of AI, and we need like from yesterday someone with a huge knowledge background about this, I think it tended to grow because it's not this divided work as outsourcing that we just like close your eyes and let someone deliver for you based, of course, on some achievements, but instead you bring like knowledge to your company. So I have I shouldn't I guess, but I guess based on what it's happening now, that it might or grow or keep like very stable, mainly for this very difficult knowledge that doesn't make sense sometimes to hire internal. Imagine you need a project for 6 months, 1 year to do something with AI, and then it's one way to go. So it makes more sense like bring someone external, let them like help your team. They will also help to teach your team, and then they will go to work in other projects. So I think for the company efficiency and the budget side, that there is an idea that might grow in my point of view.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any thoughts on that, Pascal? Where is the future for companies like Netguru? We're basically, very much interested in hearing if we have a future for this kind of service.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a feature. I think the bigger the organization, the more likely this is. I mean, in tech, you just can't achieve everything by yourself. It's usually collaboration. Like Paulo said, there might be a skill you need just for a while. It doesn't make sense to fully hire for that role. You can just get an external person do it for you, clear terms, and then you go. Yeah, I think there's a very clear need for that. But I think it would be on an organization by organization basis, and the bigger the organization, the more I think there will be need for stuff like that. Because there will be so many projects going at the same time that you don't want new guys or just short time stuff.
It's super interesting to me also to witness. We're lucky to witness the AI revolution, and we've already seen we are seeing this hype, but we're also seeing a kind of reckoning and an understanding where people with their unique experiences, previous job experiences, projects, come in handy, and where they can, bring value other than, simple AI assisted, basically AI driven optimization of any kind, and efficiency gains. Basically, to me, right now, for the time being, we have these AI driven efficiency gain and the human driven value that's still there. We'll see for how long, basically, but that's a topic for another conversation. Do you have anything you'd like to add for the ending of this discussion on staff augmentation?
I would like just to say that one thing that I see as a very important as an engineering leader, it's like before you try to organize how you set your organization, try to make sure that your most experienced engineers, CTO, they will define clear the architecture, and then your architecture will be proven from the organization. Like, it will be like an organization proof, because organizations, they are all changing, but while you do some kind of architecture that it will scale on behalf of your goals, it's the way that you can change how you organize your team. Sometimes you might have more staff augmentation, sometimes less, but you will keep walking towards your company goals. So I think this is like crucial for these days that we might need to change how we organize the people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for that last comment. And thank you for talking to me today. Super happy we've met. Thank you for having this opportunity to talk about staff augmentation. And thank you to all our attendees for being with us here today. You're very welcome to join more disruption forums. There are plenty of disruption forums coming up next year. I think we're starting in February, so we'll keep you posted. Thanks a lot for today, and have a wonderful afternoon wherever you are.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.